learn to be a man, growing up with a cane pole in his hand. Pocket full of dreams sitting down by the stream that leads him to the Corpus Bay. Give him a shotgun to please his mind, give them quail a few reasons to fly. Living in the city just ain't for me, I wanna go back to the country. Take me to Texas, I wanna go down that open road. Take me to Texas, I wanna see how far this country goes. Take me to Texas, I wanna go down that open road. Take me to Texas, I wanna see how far this country goes. From the pheasant up north to the bucks down south, the east and west have got them largemouth. Hill country hunting and the gold.
Hi folks, I'm TJ Greaney, your host for the Texas Outdoor Zone. Today we go with my buddy Roger Creager to East Texas, Orange, Texas, and we're going to hang out with Chester Moore, saltwater editor for Texas Fish and Game magazine. He's going to show us this area, the bayous, Sabine Lake. We're going to go out looking for trout, redfish, and flounder out here. This is an absolutely different ecosystem than we're used to fishing, and we're excited about being here. So let's get right to it.
Here's what we got here. This is called the old gator hole here. Get those carks out there. We're going to make a drift through here. As you look through here, you can see we don't have any birds working, folks. We don't have any other boats moving. That old rain and that old cold front pretty much shut this whole system down. But we're going to keep trying and keep looking for some fish to see if they'll trade through here. We got a little point that runs out through here, so perhaps we'll hit a little pot of fish for you. It's called the old gator hole because there's some big gators in it.
Catch me an alligator.
Pipe to the right of the pipe. Watch your backswing now. He may grab you. We don't want to go to the hospital, boys. There you go. You're over. Yeah, let him eat it. Keep saying to yourself, let him eat. You're going to overreact sometimes because you're watching it, you know, and he's going to come up and play with it before he takes it, maybe. There's a debate up there.
So Chester, you've been, you told me that you decided when you were 15 that there was two things you loved, music and writing, and you thought that your gift was writing, so you pursued that?
Yeah, I love both, you know, and it was just that I figured being able to be a writer and freelance type writer, I would be able to pretty much make my own schedule, do what I want to do, and that would allow me time to pursue the music as well. And it would allow me to do a bunch of cool stuff like fishing with you guys right now. So that was the career choice I made, and I'm glad I did. It was a cool one. I mean, I really like being an outdoor writer.
Well, you're a very prolific writer. How many articles do you end up writing a month?
You know, I don't even gauge it anymore. Right. It's a bunch. I mean, because I do newspaper stuff every week. I write magazine stuff every month for fishing, Texas Fish and Game, and freelance. I would say in the course of a year, I do about 100 magazine pieces and probably 200, 250 newspaper pieces.
Wow, that's a lot of words coming out of one brain.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on up there. Not always correct, but you know, it's a lot of stuff going on up there.
So it really does require you to be out a lot. I mean, to feed your brain and your thought and your thinking and...
Yeah, it's that, and it's also using modern communication. I mean, just email, for example. I was the first writer that I know of in a magazine that ever stuck his email address in there and said, contact me if you got want to know anything or want to give any tips. And I get so much from the readers out there. I mean, I have very loyal readers, and they give me so many great story ideas and tips on things. So it's a combination of being out here, communicating with the readers out there, and just being a consummate lover of critters. I got into the outdoors because I love wildlife. I could care less about the gear. It's just a means to an end to me. You know, I'm a person who likes to see the animals. I'm the guy who's digging around for the earthworms, you know, catching a snake. You know, I love all this stuff out here, and so it's just a matter of somebody who passionately likes to study it and likes to go out and pursue it.
So Chester, tell me about this 500,000 acres of marsh and wetlands right here. This is a national refuge?
Yeah, we call this the Sabine Badland. It's the part we're on right now is the Sabine National Wildlife Refuge. And I don't know how many hundreds of thousand acres that one refuge is, but there's also the Gray and the Oldham estates, and they run cattle throughout these marshes. And this is about 20 miles of marsh that go all the way up to the mouth of the Sabine River, and it continues north. And it's just a really rich estuary. I mean, there's a lot of shrimp, a lot of crab, and that's why we produce so many fish in these marshes. You know, Louisiana has more fish per acre than Texas ever thought about in most spots. And they don't have a fish stocking program. They don't need it, they have marsh. There's more marsh here on Sabine Lake than there is the entire Texas coast. And that's why we have such a prolific fishery, because we have the estuary habitat, you know.
And you said it's the fresh water that the small fry and everything grow up.
Well, what happens is it's a rich mix of fresh and saltwater brackish, but there are freshwater parts of these marshes that produce plenty of shrimp and crab and that kind of stuff. And they grow up in there, and it just holds a lot better vegetation. And one of the problems has been, man has dug, we dug canals in here to go in there and do various things, and it's allowed salt water to intrude in the marsh and cause some problems. And that's been the biggest problem. But overall, these marshes are pretty healthy by 2004 standards.
So besides the good fishing in here, the duck hunting is exceptional around here?
Absolutely. Well, last couple of years it hasn't been, but typically what we have is a wonderful, wonderful duck hunting. We have a lot of marsh, fresh and saltwater marsh, and there's a lot of prairie habitat along the back here. And that draws in a lot of ducks, as well as the open bay here. There's a lot of divers and stuff, and a lot of really obscure species like that people don't hunt in Texas really, like bufflehead and goldeneye will show up out here on the bay. And for the guys who do hunt it, it's a pretty neat thing.
We're fishing the Badlands of East Texas, Sabine Lake. We'll be back right after this.
This portion of the show brought to you by Country Line Mercantile.
Red. I'm in a crab trap too. I gotta chase him down. Get out there, guys. You're right out there where I was.
Yeah, I caught a jelly.
There he goes. Get out of the traps. Get out of the traps. Get out of the traps, you big monster. Back. Get him up. Get out of the traps. Get right back where I was, guys. Get out of the traps. Please get out of the traps. Let me wear you down a little bit here. Hang with me, fish. That'll be a red outfit. Red was in that bait. Stay with them out there, guys. There's usually more than one. Keep it moving. Make the noise. Not yet. Just he's got a mind of his own. These are called croakers on steroids.
Nice one. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'll get on this side for you.
Oh, nice.
Here, let me lean down here and get it for you. You know, when you're really catching these things in a hurry, it's a tendency to put a net under them. But you don't want to net these varmints unless you have to, because they'll mess the net up. So what you can do is you can tame them like you would a salmonoid. Big red. They're gray kind of over here. The spot is on the tail. If you look at the spot on the tail and look at the eyeball, they look the same. That's to confuse the bait that they're chasing, so the bait doesn't know if it's coming or going. If you believe that, you need to buy a bridge.
That's confusing as hell.
Let's let him go, guys. What do y'all think?
No.
Okay, here we go. There you go.
Oh man, you know what I did this last year? I took my spear gun and I was snorkeling at 50 miles out with my spear gun shooting at dolphin, and lo and behold, a blue marlin, close to 200 pounds, swam up to us.
Oh, wow.
There was me and a buddy of mine from Freeport, and both of us saw it, which I'm glad, because if only one of us had seen it, no one would ever believe it.
Definitely.
Come on, girl.
Oh,
now.
it's like that time. I had to bite up.
Edit, splice in big trout.
Hold that sucker, there you go.
You know, TJ, I was once going to start the Gulf Coast Slime Masters Association. And what we were going to do is we were going to have tournaments where you just weigh in a jar of gaff top slime, and at the end of the year, who has the biggest jar wins a boat. But nobody'd sign up.
That sounds slimy. All right, folks, here's your Texas Outdoor Zone tip for this week with Chester Moore, saltwater editor for Texas Fish and Game magazine.
Occasionally be fishing here on the coast and see a weird object coming out of the fin of the belly of a fish, most of the time covered with strange green slime. Well, if you catch a fish like that, what you need to do is go and take your fingers, pull the slime away, and you're going to see numbers on that and a phone number. That is a fish tag. The fish has been tagged by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, CCA, the National Marine Fisheries Service, or perhaps a university. And they're trying to track the fish, move, study their areas that they go into so they can better help anglers in conservation efforts. And what you need to do is call that number, write the tagging information down. If you want to keep the fish, you can just call it right in or just clip it off the fish, or you can simply release the fish and write the information down. Make sure and record where you caught the fish at and tell them, because they want to find out to compare where the fish was released and where it was eventually caught. Some of these fish are recaught 2 or 3 times. And the cool thing is you get to find out where the fish you caught came from. It might be from 200 miles away, might be from a mile away 3 years ago, but it's really neat information. It's one of those things that will contribute to fisheries conservation.
Folks, that's your Texas Outdoor Zone tip for this week.
This is Chester Moore, saltwater editor of Texas Fish and Game magazine, and you're watching the Texas Outdoor Zone.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Countryline Magazine. Now it's time for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Corral.
The State Fish Hatchery near Corpus Christi released its 100 millionth redfish last November. It's a milestone in a restocking program begun in the late 70s. That's when marine biologists discovered a dangerous decline in the red drum population due to commercial overfishing.
The stocking itself isn't the answer. You have to have regulations both for size and bag limits. And the first step was the ban on the sale of commercial fishing.
To save the resource in the early 80s, Texas Parks and Wildlife biologists banned the commercial take of red drum, and bag limits were set for recreational fishing.
We want to make sure that the population stabilizes and stays high, at least for the historical highs. And right now, the only fishing pressure that's there is the recreational fishermen.
Every month, the hatchery releases almost 2 million fingerlings in the Gulf Coast bays. The stocking program and fishing regulations work hand in hand to keep the fish population healthy.
The success of this program is unprecedented, and there is no other program in the country that has been as successful as we have with red drum.
If the overfishing of the late 70s had continued, state biologists say redfish along the Texas coast may have disappeared.
And it looks like our grandchildren and our children will also have the benefit of going out and having a real opportunity of catching redfish like we used to do years ago.
From the Texas coast, this is Alan Warren Outdoors.
When you're out here fishing like this, part of trying to track them down is running around, scouting for them, chasing them, looking for them, looking for the birds and stuff. So we're in the process of chasing them down. And we can do that because that's our mission in life.
That's right.
Today, our mission is
We got a saying offshore: don't leave fish to find fish. But we ain't found any yet, so we got to go find them.
What you got?
Yeah.
Get that.
What do you got?
Little trout.
Mammoth Sabine speck.
I'm
Look
not
at
sure
the
that's
color
big
in
enough
this,
by
though.
Louisiana standards.
The color on this, look how
Pretty, isn't it?
absolutely
Iridescent.
perfectly dark and
Beautiful fish.
absolutely healthy. I can feel its heart just going. Pitter pat. Oh, Chester and Roger, 0.
Let me get it here.
I'm impressed.
He's counting the hardhead.
Gaff top.
And the illegal
A
side.
gaff top, thank you.
I tell you what, we'll count those as one combined.
That's fine.
Well, no, 0.75.
Oh, man, I count that as negative. You had to take it off the hook.
Killing us, man. These guys up to one.
It's not the size, it's the quality. That's a beautiful fish. Back where I come from, they get a little bigger than that.
Come on.
Little bitty, but
Same guy.
beautiful. Cynoscine nebulosus.
Suicide nebulosis?
No, we wish we had suicide. This is the Cynosine. If we had suicide, we'd be doing better off.
Just jump in the boat.
They're in here. Oh, I just missed a good one. Get over there, guys. Got more bites here. In 10 minutes than we did all morning. Oh, there the one.
If I catch enough of these, they'll equal one.
He's right on about 0.75 fish for the day. I'm not fishing right now because I don't want to, hog all the excitement. I don't want to, draw the fish to me.
I, for one, appreciate that, Chester.
Well, it's your show.
Hey, this is Roger Creager. Here we are at Sabine Lake on the Texas Outdoor Zone.
This portion of the show brought to you by Country Line Mercantile. Well, folks, we're wrapping it up here on the East Texas Bayous with Chester Moore and Roger Creager. Chester, thank you so much for taking us out and showing us your part of Texas.
Well, I wish we'd have caught more fish. It was a slow day because the cold front blew through last night. Dumped a little more water on the east side, and we had a lot of murky water coming through the bayous. But at the same time, we got to show you guys a different habitat, different ecosystems than you have in the areas of South Texas that you fish.
Yeah, it's completely different from the Rockport area that I'm so used to and that I visit so often. And for the Corpus area, it's different for you too.
Well, I mean, y'all were talking about being able to, at the dock, catch bass, and halfway down the thing, and then, you get down close to the saltwater and you're catching speckled trout, and, all in this close proximity. It's no wonder that there are so many fish.
Absolutely. It's a rich area in terms of the ecology, a lot of different kind of wildlife and fish, and even alligators. We got to see an alligator there.
Yeah, you got to see
My
your
first alligator in Texas.
It was a wee one, but it was still an alligator.
Yeah, we were looking for the 12-footer to feed to Roger, but anyway, we didn't get to see him, and that'll just give us another excuse to come back again. And
He wasn't big enough for me to wrestle.
no, but you were willing.
I'm willing.
Is that a new song about wrestling alligators or something?
There will be.
If he ever does it, we'll expect a song out of that. Well, thank you so much, Chester, for having us out. And Chester and I, folks, are going to work on the website, and we're going to start posting things on the Texas Outdoor Zone website that give you opportunities to take your children and even your college-age kids, scholarship information, stuff like that. So keep an eye on our website, because Chester and I are going to work real hard on getting as much information for the kids on there, because you're a firm believer in getting the kids outdoors.
Absolutely. The great Fred Bear, the founder of Bear Archery, once said that hunting cleanses the soul. And I believe that. I think that going out and spending time in the outdoors, hunting or fishing, whatever your outdoor interest, does that. So we need more youth to cleanse their souls right now and get involved in the outdoors. And by like the Texas Outdoor Writers Association Scholarship, we're trying to promote young people becoming involved in outdoor communication and getting them away from the malls and just the video games and the internet and out here in the wonderful, great outdoors.
Well, that's our motto here, folks. This week, get your kids off the couch, get them outside, get them away from the TVs, the computers, and the Game Boys. Get them out into the great Texas Outdoor Zone. We'll see you next week right here. We're fixing to make a move here on Sabine Lake, folks. Moving back off into the
Picture for the we on?
Yes, sir.
On the Texas Outdoor Zone. I can talk. Hey, this is Roger Creager. We're fishing here on Sabine Lake on the Texas Outdoor Zone, and we will be right back. Hey, this is Roger Creager. We're fishing today, Sabine Lake, and on the Texas Outdoor Zone.
It's not energy, it's patience. Super splash dunk. Okay, ready? Hi folks, I'm TJ Greaney, your host and the talking head for this blob of crumb that's... You're going down, baby. There's nothing you can do about it.